Let me say good morning to all of you and welcome to Livingstone College and to the Hood Administration Building. This building was named after James Walker Hood, who was a bishop in the AME Zion Church and is famed for discovering the first president of Livingstone College, Joseph Charles Price. We're here today because of the history and tradition of Dr. Hood and Bishop Hood. Our 13th president has also made a tremendous, extraordinary discovery of a new talent that's coming to our institution. I am honored today to introduce to you our president, the 13th president in the line of succession of presidents here at Livingstone College, who will introduce our new women's head basketball coach. Let us welcome with a round of applause President Anthony J. Davis.
You always love when Dr. Alexander introduces you, you really feel like you somebody. Thank you, Dr. Alexander. I'm excited, I'm enthusiastic, and I'm encouraged. Those are the words that I said last night. Said that last night as I spoke to my student athletes. Athletics on the campus of Livingstone College is very, very important. First of all, on our campus, they are student athletes first. Let me say that again. They are student athletes. But they make sacrifices to come to schools like Livingstone College. Earlier this year, I had an opportunity to think about where do we go from here as it relates to women's basketball. I thought about what the institution would need. First of all, looked over the landscape, and I wanted to have someone come to Livingstone College who would have the capacity to work with young women using the game of basketball to get them ready, prepared for life. The individual who I will bring to the podium in just a few minutes as I introduce them to you is someone that I knew when they were in high school. In New Haven, Connecticut, she was a high school standout. In college, she was a collegiate standout. In Division I basketball, she was a great coach, great recruiter. So, at the homegoing of my mother this year, I just so happened to be in a restaurant, and she came up to me and talked about how valuable my mother was for the community. And I said, "Where are you now?" She said, "I'm in Rock Hill, South Carolina." I said, "What?" I said, "Let's keep in touch." I had no idea that I would have an opportunity to extend an offer to her. Here's what I look for in a leader for our women's basketball program. Winning is not everything. I read this quote, but if it's not, why do we still keep score, Coach Stinson? Winning is important. But for me, what was more important, that I had someone who first of all was a worker. Her resume speaks that she's a worker. Had to also think about having someone who was willing. You see, when you think about Livingstone College, people will take a look at what I call output data. We haven't really had a very successful women's basketball program. We've made some great strides, but we play in a competitive conference. I needed someone who was willing to take on that challenge and realize that coming to a school like Livingstone College, a school that is fiscally fragile without many of the resources that other institutions may have, I needed someone who was willing. So not only did I need someone who was going to be a worker, someone who was going to be willing, I needed someone who was a winner. I watched her career from afar, and I've seen her start at the bottom and I've seen her cut down the nets. I said, that's the attitude that I want on the campus of Livingstone College. Name is Queen Edwards Smith. I knew her as Queenie Edwards. Her husband is here. Renowned cardiologist and friend of my mentor. We share mentors, Dr. James Gavin. So I believe that this appointment is divinely directed. At this time, I'm going to call to the podium our athletic director, our interim athletic director, Mr. Andre Springs, and then he's going to invite to the podium Queen Edwards Smith, the individual who I've tapped to lead our women's basketball program on the campus of Livingstone College. Andre Springs.
Thank you, Mr. President. What an exciting moment. This is something to be really excited about. I've been a part of Livingstone over 23 years. And I'll never forget the first time I met Coach Smith. Something told me that she had the energy. She had that pizzazz, that look, that she knew how to run things and get it done. And she could do it in a quiet way. That's my perception. And as I was thinking about it last night, 3 o'clock in the morning, just thinking about her, I said, she's a winner. And I hadn't looked at her bio at that point because we've been ripping and running with golf. But when I got here and I read over the bio, she's a 5-time Hall of Famer, Mr. President. I'm 8-time. But that told me, Mr. President, that she's on the same ship that I'm on. Coach Stinson is on that same ship as a legend. So we got winners coming to this program. And I thank the president for his support in this leadership, in this direction. The largest room in the world is room for improvement. And they say the largest nation in the world is your imagination. So let's look at the largest room in the world for room improvement. That's what I see that's getting ready to come to the table. That's what the president has brought to the table. Something that we can move forward so that our student athletes can have the best college experience. And that's what it's about for our student athletes. We want them to have the best experience here at Livingstone. Because when they have that great experience, they give back. They give back. So, Mr. President, on behalf of our 13th president and on behalf of the athletic program, I would like to bring Coach Smith up to invite her to Blue Bear Nation. Come on up, Coach Smith. Give her a hand. At this time, Mr. President, we'll take a picture with her.
All right, we're going to give her the microphone. We're going to take a picture. Hold on, Coach. Yeah, hold on. Well, Andre Schrain said the biggest room is a what? Room for improvement. What'd you say about the best nation? The largest nation. All right. But the best nation is a donation, so make sure you support women's athletics.
Okay, come on over, Mr. President. Let's take this picture. What, right in? Right.
Yeah.
The rest of you moving from whenever back. That's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the coach struck. Those are hard words to follow. When I spoke to Dr. Davis, he said, we're going to do a small press conference. I wasn't expecting all of this. One of the things when I saw him last night, he said, Queen, what would you like me to say about you? And I said, Dr. Davis, say whatever's on your heart, whatever comes to mind. Many people that know me, as much as I've been receiving awards and in the spotlight, they know that I like to lead from behind. I like to stay in my bubble, and I like to let my work speak for my actions. So this is not my comfort zone, but I'm going to do my best. But standing before you, I just would like to thank each and every one of you that stand or that are sitting in front of me for giving me this opportunity. Dr. Davis for believing in me, giving me a call, and asking me, would I consider or would I be interested in being part of the Blue Bear family? I would also like to thank the men's basketball staff for opening their arms, guiding me along the way, and showing me the next steps of being part of this family. There's so many people that I would like to give thanks for me to be standing here in front of you today. I always say it takes a village. And without my village that, God put in my path along the way to guide my steps for me to stand before you today, I wouldn't be who I am and where I am if it wasn't for those people that were part of my life as I grew up in New Haven, going throughout the public school system, and going on to college. And some of those people are Dr. Reginald Mayo. He was the superintendent of our schools. Dr. Lonnie Garris. He was the principal of my high school. Wanda Gibbs, my assistant principal, who believed in everyone and made sure she wrapped her arms around all of her students and made sure she made a way out of no way. I would also like to thank my coaches, all my coaches that I had along my path in my life, but especially my track coach, Pete Riccaro, who was also my middle school coach and the reason why I chose to go to James Hawes High School. My basketball coach, Willie Boyd. Willie Boyd was a graduate of Johnson C. Smith, he and his wife, and he was the one that first introduced me to the CIAA and HBCU experience, and I'm forever grateful because here I know that he's watching over me and looking down, and he's going to be at every game, every step of the way. Also, I would like to thank my college coach, William Dixon, who is not only was he my college coach, but he was the man that walked me down the aisle, that gave me away to that wonderful man sitting in the front row. He is my daughter's godfather, and he is my mentor and a part of my life, a second father to me. Miss Aurora Grant, my godmother, who is, I can't put in so many words, but I lost my parents at a young age, and she has stepped in and has been that guiding force, that guiding light, my spiritual leader, and I'm forever grateful. And then I would like to thank some of my other co-workers that I had the opportunity of working with. Tim Ford, he was the associate athletic director at Yale University, and he's the one that tapped me for the position of working in the community, but also giving me the opportunity to coach at Yale University. I remember us having long conversations. It's like, Queen, what is it that you want to do? And I say, my dream, my goal, I would love to coach on the collegiate level. And he made that possible. Little did I know he was grooming me all along from being a sports instructor with the NYSB program to taking over as the activity director in the second year and building a national program and receiving the highest honor. But he was my mentor along the way, and for that, I'm forever grateful. And last but not least, I mentioned my husband, Dr. David Smith, my 4 kids, Melissa, David Jr., Michael and Daniel, who support me every step of the way, love me unconditionally, and put up with my craziness. I just want to thank you for being so supportive and loving. I appreciate you, and on to the next chapter. Be ready. And last but not least, my village in Charlotte. I have so many people that have helped me along the way, but since I moved to Charlotte 12 years ago, I have an amazing group of friends that, our kids are able to grow up and just learn from. And they're all professionals and great in their own way. And I'm thankful to having them part of my life. And I would also like to thank the young ladies here at Livingstone, the women's basketball team. From the day when I was going through this process, I would come to games during the school year, and I was standing or sitting in the corner. They never knew I was there. And I would just watch them and how they interacted with others. But when I stepped on campus after receiving the job, I would keep my door open, and they would just stop by the gym and greet you with a smile, a hug. Coach, how are you? And to me, that means the world to me, because now I know that they're open and they're ready to accept this new challenge, not only in their life, but also mine. So with that, I'm super excited of being part of the Blue Bear family, and I'm looking forward to bringing back a winning, positive culture here at Livingstone. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, don't put her on the hot seat. I don't want to scare her. But before we take questions, I guess I'll stand. Coach Springs, we were going to sit at the table. Since I'm up here, why don't you come up here? I get to boss you around, Hall of Famer. 8-time Hall of Fame. I don't understand that, but okay. I want to thank Coach Mo. Coach Mo, thank you. Thank you. You know, good talent is hard to find. And we thought that we were going to be able to keep Coach Mo. He met with Queen, and they were ready to put this dream team together. But then somebody else knocked on his door. And as president, I'm never going to hold anyone's talent hostage. You're a great, amazing talent. And I want to thank you for what you did for my program in one of its darkest seasons. Thank you. And if you ever need a reference, you know you can call me. And if you ever need a softer place to land, you can come back home. We like Motel 6. We'll leave the light on for you. Want to answer questions for Queen, for me, for our interim athletic director. Come on now, nobody answer any questions? Great job. She did a great job. But I want to tell you what happened. When she came for an interview, if I had to interview to become the 13th president, Dr. A, everybody who wanted to come on this team had to interview. When she walked into her interview, it was clear that she was the one. I'd never seen anyone come to an interview with a portfolio and a PowerPoint. And we were sitting in there, we were in awe. What is a portfolio, a PowerPoint? And Kim, you know I had to give another one. She had a portfolio, a PowerPoint, and a plan. Because we said, how do you see our program? She said, I want to build on what you have. How would you handle returning players? They all will be given an opportunity. Some coaches with her pedigree would say, I want to start all over. She said, I want to build on what you have. I want to add pieces to it. That's the character that we have in this leader. And I'm so grateful to have her be a part of Blue Bear Nation. Any questions? Again, Queen, on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the power invested in me as the 13th president and CEO of Livingstone College, I officially welcome you to the Blue Bear family.